Okay. For some reason, I'm back. Okay, so we solved this. Nice. Let me get back to it. Nobody knows why things are happening that way. Am I here? Can I hear myself? Maybe. Maybe not. Live. Okay, let me do here. Okay. That's not what we're doing. Okay. Well, we have everything set up. That's a good thing. Let me check that out for sure. All right. So, nice. Okay. This should be me. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So, let's do a recap. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Now, there's been a setup phase, but we're ready. We're sending samples from my DAW, samples that I have captured onto a Zoom recorder from my Prophet 12 some time ago. And these samples are drum machine samples that I want to use, but I don't want to use them the way they are, which is imported into Battery 4. I want to put them into my Amiga so that I can use them as samples from a tracker, which then is going to be used as a virtual instrument. Or actually, that's not a virtual instrument, that's a real instrument, as a real instrument into my setup. So I want my Amiga to become a drum machine, but I want it to have samples that I have made myself. To do that, we have an amazing camera setup. Boom, introducing amazing camera setup. This thing is Nuendo. There's nothing too fancy about it. But what we're doing is we're sending samples that I have in Battery, for example, which sound like this, okay, to my Amiga. And you can see the screen of the Stereo Master, which is the app I've always used. I've set it up. I have captured a test sample, and it kind of worked. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to erase that sample. We're going to put it into record mode, and I'm going to send my first sample in it so that we can capture it and then cut it and do very weird stuff with it. Now, the kick number 1 I really like. So we're going to do some, probably just that. It's mono. It's going out from my patch bay into the Amiga. Tons of weird connections. It's all working so far. So let's do our first capture. Let me go back there and do a cleanup, and then we'll work it out. Okay, so everything is ready. Things are clean. I have selected a piece of virtual tape that is not too big because my RAM memory with the expansion I have, it's kind of big. And so it's never going to show the full sort of waveform, okay? But I am doing mono 55.9 kilohertz, which is probably never going to work. 32 timing on it. It's a weird thing the Amiga has. Now I have to go there, press record, and come back here and push this pad, right? So that we can capture that. So I don't have to be too fast, but I have to be kind of fast, all right? So let's try this. And there we have it. That little tiny thing you can't even see is our sample. How do I know that? Well, I'm going to take the return of the Amiga and I'm putting it in monitor mode. And then I'm going to press play and we should be able to hear it somehow. Okay, we're not hearing it. Why? Because my preamplifier for the Amiga is off. So now it's on, and so I'm gonna press play again. So let me do a comparison. This is the original, and now the sample. It's like somebody just carved out the highs from it. But don't worry about that. The only problem we have right now is that the volume is really low, really low. Now, this one isn't, but we're getting into 0 dBFS. So I cannot really push the volume here, because if I do, we're gonna get clipping from the converters, okay? It's just an analog thing. I'm not getting that much from its channel. I might want to try and swap to a different connector, because right now I'm using a tip sleeve. I want to try and use a tip ring sleeve. Let's try and do that. I'm gonna actually show you what I mean by that. Aren't live stream exciting? Okay, so what I have here is two types of connectors that I'm coming from the XLR. Okay, so I'm having one channel in balance mode, but then this channel in balance mode is going into either TRS, which means that the second channel is the blue, which is intended to be a second channel there, but it's not going to work that way. Or the one I have right now is a tip sleeve, but this means that the second channel is going to get my shield and ground, okay? So I don't know. I might want to have a reversed second channel, which I'm not going to use anyway, and then have the shield and ground go to actually shield or ground, because I know I have a TRS. So I know it's super boring, but that's how it is, right? So let's try and switch to a TRS connector. Okay. Boom. Here we are. Okay. So now it's shifted. So now I'm doing TRS connection. So you here, nothing really changes, right? But what I want to see is that sample there. So I'm going to do the capture again. I'm going to trash the sample. I'm going to put it on record, come back here, press the kick 1, and then stop it, and then see, oh, actually we'll stop itself, and then see where we are. Okay, looks better. Looks somehow better. I'm gonna keep these in monitor and we're gonna try and play it back. For some reason, it's not really changing that much. I don't know. It seems like, but it's not, I don't know. It's not much that, right? I just want to show you what it looks like to be that sample right now. It's not exactly huge, right? And so I think the problem is not really the, how can I say that? The output volume or the connector that I have. I'm gonna switch back to the TS, but what I want to do is I want to send these to a distressor without compressing, just pumping the output out, and then have a little bit more volume, because it looks like it could be louder, and I want the signal to noise ratio to be kind of nice, right? So let's swap back to the TS first. Okay. And rec. Let's see where we are. Oh, that's a better. I think it's just graphics because the Amiga couldn't actually get things to be that way. Like there's not a lot of resolution there, right? So it might look like it's not loud, but it's actually playing. I'm gonna play it back. It doesn't have that much transient there, but it's okay. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try and turn on a distressor here. I'm gonna put it into 1-to-1. Like I don't want it to do anything but volume. Okay. So 1-to-1, 5.5, and 6.5 should be already kind of a nice bump. But now I need a bantam to just say, from 11 and 12, this should go to the stressor one and then out. So hold on, I need a bantam. Okay, so 11 and 12 goes to the stressor one in. And the stressor one out goes to the Amiga now. So we're going to do the same thing, just record a new one. Doesn't look that much better. Let's try 8, or maybe let's do 6-8. Let's do 6-7. Ready? Gotta do the same game. Okay, it doesn't look that better. So let's try and play it back from the Amiga now. So I'm hearing a lot of noise, and I don't think I want that either. So because we're pushing so much, so I'm gonna go back to the 11, 12. So here, and back. So now using the distressor again, let's try and do the capture, and then let's just try and cut it because I think that's the best we can get. So let's do trash sample, press play again, press play on tape, that stuff. You see, I've zoomed in, and it's a proper size sample. Like we're sending 0 dBFS, and it's kind of there. So now what we need to do is we need to cut it, and this is where things become nice. So I'm gonna go there and try and cut this sample while you watch me. I think it's fine. I think it's good. We should save it. This is where we are. Do I want to fade it out? I don't think I want to fade it out. You can see that sample right there, right? You see how the bump of that sample's happening. Whatever. I don't even know what the Amiga believes this is that I'm sending, right? Awesome, but it's a good start. It locks pretty much everything from 3.5 onwards. I don't know how or why, but we're gonna do this capture this way. I'm gonna try now and save it. Okay, I actually want to give you the full kind of view over the Amiga because this is gonna be good. We have to save it into a folder so that it stays as an IFF. Okay. I love this. I think I did it. So I cannot access my other partition for some reason. Maybe I could, but I didn't want to lose it. So I selected the native samples folder for the Stereo Master, called it ARS Kick P12 Kick 101 version 0, which to me means that's the raw capture. That's as close as to nothing that we've done, okay, to it. So now you hear what samples I have here, which they're pretty weird. Now, I don't want to have all of them, but I know which samples I want. I think 8. I want 8, but I'll preserve the names, okay? So we have to capture 8. I want 8. Okay, too long. Okay. Ooh, okay. I've just found out something extremely weird. Okay, so there's a filter on and off. We have to try that with filter off because we don't want to filter stuff right off the bat. So, okay, are you ready? Let's go there and try that again. Okay. Yeah, get ready. I have to go back. I want to have a clean slate, but we have to go filter off. Okay. I think the best solution for me is to just go close and reopen. Okay, so I'm gonna press record, and we're gonna do our set like a same kick one, but with filter off. I'm curious, as this weird sound different? Let's try that. I wish I knew how to navigate all these. Let's try and do a one kick. I'm gonna do a memory buffer reset so that I have like a very specific time frame for it. Okay, I have a rough idea of what I wanted to go. Follow me up on it. I need an assistant here. Do you see it? Like when I zoom in, the sample is actually there. So that's the hard thing. The resolution of the Amiga doesn't allow us to see the waveform the way we perceive it with new stuff, isn't it? Do you understand that? So when I zoom in, magically the sample is there. So now it's a matter of just fine tuning the in and out so that we can save that. Okay. Okay, so now I think I have it. Now I want to snip it to just that. I'm going to save like a different version, like a V0 no F. And I hope that what I have in the outputs is actually what gets saved. Let's try that. Okay. Okay. So far I was able to just copy left to right, but I think I wanted a sort of a mono sample. Now I have kind of a stereo sample, which I'm going to try and play back just so you can hear what happens. Okay. So this is my sample, but I think it's not actually cut. There's something that tells me that this is not cut, okay? So I'm going to take the manual, the paper version, we're going to go through it. So this is the actual box of the Stereo Master, the analytical software, okay? This is just good, too good. Okay, let's go through the manual and try and understand what is happening in this thing. So, because we want to cut that sample to be what we need, right? So, few editing functions. Click the button load to load the screen just to, okay, mark the button load. This is the reverse button. We don't need to reverse our kick. The zoom we know. Isn't this amazing? Okay, record, VCR, move the mouse right slowly. Okay, this is a fade in and fade out. Okay. Ghost pointer location, very useful feature unique to Stereo Master is ghost pointer. Every time you press the play and record buttons, a special pointer will trace across the sample window to indicate precisely which part of the sample is currently being played. The ghost pointer is colored blue for playback and red for record. And when playback or recording stops, either at the end of the sample display or being stopped prematurely by the mouse button, the position of the ghost pointer is saved. You may now quickly set either the start point of the cursor, okay, to where it is. Okay, well, that's fine, but I want to cut stuff. Okay, we're there, insert sample, playback control, cut. Okay, removes the sample contained within the cursor and shuffles the rest of the sample above down. Please note that the use of this command can be disruptive to pointers that have been set up within the sequencer. When performing a cut operation, the entire contents of the memory will be shifted down to close the gap, throwing any pointer settings. Okay, I don't want to cut. I want to copy, or I want to, what is it? Bounce. A monosample can be made to pan from one channel to the other. This feature always takes the left as a source. That's not. Copy a sample from the current sample display to the edit buffer for later insertion. A requester will ask you to confirm. If the sample display is greater than the size of the edit buffer, the sample truncated will be displayed. This could be it. The two cursors are joined to form a box around the sample they encompass. Now the screen can be scrolled left or right to locate an area of the sample buffer to which the sample is to be transferred. Could be copy. Wipe. What is it? When selected, the sample between cursors is cleared. Okay. Copy between channels. Filter. Reverse sample. Brings up the file requester. Okay. My question is whether or not, I don't know if you know that, if the if what I save is between the, if I save the whole thing or if I save just that sample. Okay? Because what I'm thinking is I'm saving the whole silence part. I don't want to say, I just want to, probably I need to copy the buffer. Then go new. That's kind of weird though. That would not make sense, right? Cut or del. What is cut or del? There's no, just the manual doesn't give us a lot. Also about to cough just because of the dust this thing has. Okay. Well, I understand that. But we need to cut it somehow. Special effects, no. Ramp, reverb, dump, play sequence, controls, delete file, settings, cut. Cuts the sample between the cursors. Either cuts to the edit buffer or deletes it. Okay, that's good. Delete clears the sample between the cursor. Okay. So I should do cut, then select all, and then clean it. A monosample can be made to, so bound, compress, compresses the request to allow, what is compression here? This not only means the sample now occupies half the space it did, but compared to its original sample frequency now twice the speed. Ah, okay, no, we don't want that. We don't want any of it. I want to, okay, I think I have it. Hold on. I think I have an idea. Let's try this. Let's go. I have that. I'm going to copy, clear buffer, paste. How do I go back? Okay. This is quite hard. So I want to make sure I have that sample down, and I have saved it. I know for sure I've saved it, but I can't cut it for some reason. I need to just have that sample being played back, not the whole thing. So bear with me. You know what? Seems fine to me. Okay. We want kick 8 now, okay? So record kick 8. I can't believe it. I think I did it. Okay, so insane. What, number 9? I like 9 and 10. Let's do 9 and 10. Okay. This is awesome. We need 10. Oh, 10 is probably one of my favorites. So, personally, it looks like I'm clipping that thing. So the samples are all wrong, like too loud. But there's no indication, like this is 0, right? Yes. So we're unity gain back and forth. It's all balanced. There's nothing in between. This is how it should be. So we have to proceed. Let's do number 10, okay? Let's do this. Okay, no filter. All the way up. Okay, mono. Record. And then kick 10. And then stop. And then we move this here. And we zoom in. 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 Ah, just go a little bit further. How do we do that now? Oh crap. We gotta go back to, oh, full sample. No. Okay, 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 okay. Here, here. Okay, we got it. Here and here. Little bit of cue. Here. Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Say. Kick number 9. Okay. The level of precision of this thing, is this 9 or 10? Oh crap. Oh crap. I think that was not. Was it 9 or 10? Oh no. Oh, 9. Okay. Let's do 9. Just to be sure. We have number 10. We have number 9, sorry. Let's do number 10. You see how I always kind of go like quit and restart just because I don't know what's going on if I just overwrite stuff. So quit, restart, blah, blah, blah. Filter, mono, all the way up. Okay. Kick 10, kick 10. Awesome. Then we zoom in. We zoom in and zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. Nice. Save. Samples. Kick 10. Oh, did it save? No? Yes. Okay. 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 So in theory, we have 4 kicks. I'm just shuffling through them. These are very similar, so I'm okay. Let's load the snares. Snares. I don't really like any of the snare. I don't know. Hold on. There's an effect going on here. Who's there? Okay. Let's do this too. Okay, this has an effect for some reason. Let's do snare 1 and snare 2. But snare 1 and snare 2 I really want to do because they're kind of nice, okay? Let's do that. And each time it's playing through it while it's recording, it's also having its monitor on. So you kind of hear it twice, but it's not really recording that twice. It's all good. Let's do snare 1 and snare 2. Snare 1, snare 1. Oh no. Okay. Save this. Okay. Okay. I have snare 1. We need to do snare 2. Snare 2. Okay. Okay. We got it. We got kicks and snares. Okay, we got we got them. What I'm thinking is, they're not cut. Okay, but I don't know. So what we need to do now is, apart from the manual and the beautiful stuff, we got kick 1, 2, 3. I mean, the various samples. And you can see them there, like the waveform, not very high res, but that's there. And we took the filter out, so it kind of sounds off the charts, no filtering whatsoever, because I'm going to have gear to filter that anyway. But we have to load that into some sort of sampler thing to see if that reacts, because I have to make sure like the ins and outs are cut. I have no idea if that is the IFF I wanted. I have no idea. I could import it into Goldwave and then cut it and then send it back to the Amiga. That could be a good idea, but let's try that. Let's close Stereo Master. Let's open Pro 2. Let's load a sample in it. It should be connected to MIDI. Let's just, this is hard. This is hard. Yes, okay. Well, it's all set. So let's close Stereo Master and let's open Pro 2 and let's load a sample in it. I have the Amiga retard here, so this should be playing anyway, even without battery. Okay, let's do that. Okay, Pro 2. Okay, so we have Pro 2 loaded. What I need to do now is to find and load the IFF samples that I've captured, okay? And when I play them, I can do that with the Amiga keyboard, the actual keys. It should hopefully play right off the bat, like what I've cut should be what I have. Let's try that. It worked. Have you heard it? Have you heard it or not? I'm gonna do it again. Okay, so I just played the Z key. What is it like? Yes, the Z is usually the reference key I always use, and it's working. So it is working. It is working. Let me just show it to you off the hook there. Okay, so track 1 has imported my sample 1, and when I play that on the key, it starts off. So the in and outs of Stereo Master are respected because I'm doing very, very, very close stuff. Okay, and I see the number of people watching the stream is just skyrocketing because there's a tracker, an Amiga tracker on it, which is to me, along with Star Tracker, which I have installed and kind of playing with, but just exporting stuff back that I was doing in the 90s. Pro 2 is to me the epitome of trackers, but I have never used trackers the way most people use trackers. I usually use it as a drum machine or things like that. So on track number 1, we have our sample. I'm gonna go play. Actually, this could get MIDI in. So if I play this from here, if I turn on an Amiga track, I should be able to play it from the Amiga, from the base station, and have sound in there. Okay, so but that's kick 0 1. So I'm gonna do kick snare 1 on the other track, and so we have a kick and snare going. It is playing. That's fantastic. Now, what I want to do is I want to try and set the Amiga here on the different MIDIs, though. Because that's what I want. So return bus should be 11 and 12. I like having that kick. Just that. It's okay. Now we don't need the return bus any longer here. We're just gonna set it as a real instrument. So T instrument Amiga, all MIDI inputs, Amiga inst, so just I don't forget. Okay, that's as an instrument now. And when we monitor it and I play it, it should work. And it's not coming out. Why? Amiga, return bus, 11 and 12. Oh, because it's 1, 2, of course. There we go. So that's that's without the filter. Which, if I'm honest with you, I love that. Okay. Now I've got to load it somewhere else, however. Now it's only left channel, of course. I love that. What I want to do is this. I want to take 11 and 2, like I would want to, and I want to send it to the distressors first. And I would like a snare hit, but I'm not getting that. Let's try and work that out before we get it. I want a snare on the normal 2s. So I'm gonna give you volume back, and so we're gonna hear it. Okay, now we're talking. Right, but there are 2 different channels. I'm gonna just lower the volume ever so slightly of the others there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the outputs of the Amiga and put them through the distressors and then going to go back up. That's how I kind of want it. I don't mind the effects. We're kind of going down in resampling. That's okay, though. That's kind of good. So 1, 2 goes to distressor 1, 2, which they're on. And distressor out goes to 1. And then I need another bantam. No, it's not a bantam. Here. Okay, so distressor 2 goes to output 2. So they're kind of super loud, which is good. I will kind of drop you up and set the volumes a little bit. Okay, let's try without distressors and with. That's exactly what I was talking about. This is good. I wanted to put the DTC before that. I kind of like how they're coming out now. Yes, there's no effects. Let's drop in an effect like the big sky, whatever. Big sky. Do I usually use it? Yeah, or black hole. Let's do a black hole. Not mono, but stereo. Let's call it black hole. This is my effect, like a real pedal effect. So we're gonna send this dude here to our where is it? Black hole. See it here. Awesome. So if I make this solo exempt, because this is coming back from my summing, we need a connect to bus. We need to build this as well. In inputs, I need to add a stereo bus, which is called 2-bus return. Because this is all my effects are getting summed to 15, 16. And so we need an effect here that is an audio track with a bus 2-bus return, and we call these 2-bus return. That's how I do it. That's my routing. So we make these solo exempt and we play it through. Let's see. Okay. Let me turn on the effects, because the good thing about the black hole is that it's true bypass. Like good pedals. So now you hear it. This is just the effect. Nice. So it's playing. That's good. And what we probably want to make this is not a stereo track. We just want to mono it up. So there's tons of ways to do it. I will do stereo combined and just sum it up as C, C, C. So see, now it's playing together. So I'm gonna do another track. I'm gonna do the not an instrument. Let's try and let's do another effect here. Let's try and do the timeline, although it will be completely off in terms of effects. Send it here. Timeline. That's on my template, so I have to kind of redo it. It's not coming out. Why? That should be it. Ah, because it's we castrated it, obviously. Here, external instruments, external effects. That's the huge thing about here. You see, we castrated it. There we go. So now it's playing that. Okay, we can add. I'll add the volante, but it's even more. Not sounding too off tempo. It just sounds like that dotted part. Let's do volante as well. Let's do a pre-fader. Well, if I tap tempo, that will probably work, right? Because they're getting the MIDI tempo from Right. They're getting a sort of a tempo from. So I mean, the Amiga is sending stuff that were samples of mine from what we captured into here, and the tracker's going. Now the thing is, I don't want the tracker to be playing to the tempo there. I just want it as a drum machine. Okay, so how to do that? We gotta stop it and then connect the MIDI to it. But the Amiga instrument, which I should make into a different color, let's do like a violet thing. This thing should be just receiving MIDI from my base station, for example. So this should work. So I'm gonna stop it, and then we're gonna play with that. Right, so now it's doing that, obviously, right? We don't want it to be playing by itself. We want it to trigger notes when I play the MIDI. Now in Pro 2, if you want to know how to do that, if you look at Pro 2, it's got a MIDI setup page, which is the beautiful thing about it. And it has a channel distribution, which also allows you to then set split points, which I'm not interested in doing. So we got MIDI to be turned on. And then we have to say that track 1 is doing channel 2. Channel 1 and 2 is doing 2, and 3 is doing 3, and 4 is doing 4. This should work. So now I'm going to build a stupid kind of thing. I'm gonna do actually 4 MIDI tracks. I'm gonna call them Amiga, and I'm gonna take from all the MIDI inputs and I'm gonna send it to the Amiga itself. And then we gotta make sure. Let me color these folks yellow, because they're gonna be obnoxiously easy to understand. We don't want these. We want this channel here. So this is Amiga channel 1. Oh, this is 2, 3, and 4. Thank you, Nuendo, for doing that. So there we go. Here's my kick. You hear it? That's me playing the keyboard and sending it to the Amiga in terms of MIDI, and the Amiga's playing the sample that it's got on channel 1. Right? Now, Amiga channel 2. Right? So I can do that. Essentially. Now on channel 3 and 4, I haven't loaded samples. That's the beautiful thing about it. So I just have 2, 1, and 2. 1 and 2. That's as simple as that. So if I put a click to it, and I go tan, 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 109, okay, display only, let's do 109, and do, you know, something like that. Right? Right? Something like this. When I zoom into this guy, it's completely off. Move here and then quantize, because there's probably a delay between me and the MIDI itself that I hear. Okay, so this should work. That's what I wanted. Nope, that's not what I wanted. This goes here. And then... Right. This. Let's write a snare track now. It's even polyphonic. This is insane. Let's do this. No, hold on. There's some there's something wrong with something. What? Oh, right on. You man, this is wrong. This is here. Right. Okay. Right. And now for the beauty of the fantastic. What is it? Oh, here. There's a retrospective. It's not here. Hold on. It's probably here. There's a insert recording, insert retrospective. Here we go. This guy here. Then we quantize it. It's always on the 4. That's fantastic. So we got these. Right, now we send tempo to this guy. Project synchronization. Pedals. We're not sending 2 pedals, right? That's why they're not syncing. Should be 16, 15. Right. Boom. Okay, now they should be synced. Right. It's working. It's what I wanted. Now we do bass line. Let's try that. We try the bass line? Yeah, I meant bass station, but I want to do bass line. The bass line is clearly brownish. So this dude here, oh no, this is yellow. Come on. This guy here, this, height, all the complexity of this guy. So the bass line should be playing. We don't have it in notes mode. And I have to check the connections because obviously the bass line being in, what is it, number 5? Oh, yes, I need my culture vulture on because it's on one channel. That should be on. Okay. How about hearing it? Oh, not playing. Why? Why aren't you? Well, I'm gonna try and press play. Right. So it's catching MIDI, but what we need is I need to sync it again. All right, so now we make something out of it. I have no idea why it's not playing MIDI. There's probably it's not connected to it. I have no idea. It's not receiving. I disabled the MIDI receive. That's true, but it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna press play and try and devise a line. You hear how it's in tempo? This is fascinating. Really fascinating. And it should be like this. All these channels should be note and compensated. Note, this is right. What is it? The whatever it's called. Okay, so I'm gonna build something out of it. Okay. And that's the most horrible thing ever done, but it proves that that thing is going in tempo with what the Amiga is playing, which is insane. Insane. So it worked. It worked. In 2 hours, what was it, like a little bit less or things? It worked. So we got MIDI from here, from the samples I've captured. We got it. We got even its pitching, which is good because it... Okay, no, it's not polyphonic. I was making a mistake there, but it's playing. So it's playing. It's playing. If we go Prophet 12 and play this thing is playing now. It's playing. Right. So this would be recording if we do this. Right? Oh, it's not getting input from it, but right. Right. So we put it here. Even this one should go in tempo because it should. So here. Is it going in tempo? Maybe not. Maybe not. But that has to do with my template not sending sync to... Well, no, it's actually doing sending sync. So why is that? Let me hear it alone. Ah, yeah, you're not going to tempo, my friend. And that's probably a setting. We know why. We know why. Multi-mode, clock mode, slave. All right, so now it's slave to tempo, maybe. You hear it? Now it is. So how about the kick now? All right, so okay, so we proved that it worked. Apart from my bass line playing on the keys, they're all syncing up. And Amiga is actually keeping up with the tempo with the MIDI support that I have. And it's all working. And it's just fascinating because it's there. So we learned that we can sample to the Amiga with filter off, getting tons of noise, but it doesn't quite matter. We actually get a lot of detail at 55.9 kilohertz in mono from 48 kilohertz samples. The unity gain is there. Everything kind of worked. And we're cutting the samples the right way. I was kind of worried that it wouldn't work. And we did some kicks, we did some samples, we put them into Stereo Master, we cut them, we imported them into Pro 2, which we played them through the 4 tracks, 2 of them, kick and snare. It worked. We then loaded MIDI. We sent MIDI from Nuendo to the Pro 2, which is how I've used it even back in the old Notator or whatever Cubasis times. And it's working, and it's sending you stuff out to the Amiga track, which is going to the distressors first and then coming back here. It's gaining a ton of lows back because that's the problem. It doesn't have tons of lows when you can't capture them again. And it's syncing to tempo. It's playing quantized, and it's in sync with everything else I have in the studio. So I think I can now work with that. I'm going to save that session into Pro 2 so that I can use it as a template. It all worked. It was fantastic. Thank you very much for being with me. and see you next time. Ciao.